So we ground, clear there, and we ground a good welding surface there, and what we want to do is weld it like that. This is going to be for the willow, or for the boardwalk, to hold some of the boards down. We're going to experiment with a couple different. So that's going to be one of them. So we're going to have to set that up and weld it. And then this is a different version. And this is going to be like this. We're going to weld it like that. Kind of like a big spike with a big head on it. Alright, well, let's set up and weld. Alright, so that's where he's holding in place. So this is probably the more important dimension. Just to make sure that that is pretty square, which it doesn't look to be. And now it looks square. And that is not, the top is not perpendicular because the rod's bent, but I'd rather have it down than up, so we'll leave it. That's half-inch rebar, 12 inches. We're not sure if 12 or 18 is going to be better, but we'll start with 12. And I think we wanted this to be 4 to start with. It might have to be bigger, but we're going to start with that. That's, I think it's yep, inch by inch, I think 3/16 angle. Alright, we got some light on the scene. You got a ground lead. We got our power strip. We're gonna, this is half-inch rebar, but I'm gonna go with 1/8 inch stuff, so 3/62 and 18.8. And I think we're gonna try to tack it in a couple spots, and then change the orientation so it's easier for me to see. Alright, well, let's look. I don't know. Well, it doesn't look bad. Alright. So this type of stake is going to be meant to push down into the ground and hold the side of the board from coming. We don't want it to come up, so that's going to hold it down, and it's also going to hold it in so the board doesn't slide. Alright, let's let this one cool off and let's try the next one. Okay, so this is relatively in the middle of that rectangle, relatively, and it is relatively perpendicular. Let's see, the best way to show on that. But anyways, that's what we want. We want that perpendicular to that. So I think we're set up. Let's do some welding. That's kind of gnarly. I think the first thing I did was pretty good. Everything else was kind of crappy. That one thing has to do with the grounding. So the thought on this one is that we're going to drill a half-inch hole in the board and we're going to pound it straight in, and then it's going to hold the board down, and it's going to keep it from moving this way or this way or this way. So one stake will hold the board in place for 3 axes of translation. I do have to drill a half-inch hole. Okay, so I tried to bend the rebar. They kind of showed in some videos, really easy to do, but you know, that's like this way the effing too much of a radius, right? And if I was to pound it into the board and hold it, you know, here's the edge of the board, and this thing's going to stick out 4 inches past. That's no good for anybody. So if I can't get a sharp bend on this, then bending is not going to be one of the things. I don't even think this is worth pursuing. Yeah, so there's like a lot of crap. So it's not, if I drill a 1/2-inch hole here, that's not sitting flat, right? Because it has all that crap. So, okay, so that's 1/2-inch rebar. That's 3/8 threaded rod, which was like a whole lot cheaper. A 10-foot section was only $12. So, do I need 1/2-inch? I don't know. Could I get away with 3/8 something? I don't know. So, this one I actually drilled a hole and put it through. I'm going to weld it from the top, just so that the bottom part is going to be flat against the wood. We'll see what happens there. Alright, just hit it up with the grinding wheel a little bit. I don't know. Let's see what it's going to do. And now the bottom is nice and flat, which is kind of what I needed. Okay, 1/2-inch rebar with 1x1 channel, 3/8 threaded rod, 1x1 or 1x1 angle. This is 1/2-inch rebar with 1-inch flat, 2 inches. Kind of gnarly underneath. I suppose I could hit it up with a grinder, see what it looks like. And then this is 3/8 threaded rod, welded from the top, 1/8-inch flat stock. And I think I'm going to cut a 12-inch piece of this and just see what it looks like on the trail. Okay, we have 5 different stakes to try. Next time we get some no rain and some time, maybe tomorrow night, maybe Thursday. We'll see how they work. I probably should find a drill too, huh? I need to have a 1/2-inch drill to drill. Like I have to drill through the board and push that through. That's a 3/8. That's a 1/2 inch.